I recognize the leaves.
Well, thank you for joining us at Dark Dave's shop. I'm out here with a couple of our friends. We're going to be having a great day today. As you notice, I have adjusted where she sits. I'm going to have to give it a little more cord, I think. Oh, that should be good. I want you guys to have a great day. Please subscribe, like the channel. Tell me what you think. Well, thank you guys for watching Dark Dave's shop. This is the last non-audio type ride. This is going to be pretty high speed. I am just putting it on through. And the next days, or the next ride point, will be me talking and the camera on me because it finally quit raining. It was supposed to be a beautiful day, and it was. But right now I want you guys to enjoy the scenery and have some fun. It is at 20 times speed, except for the start and the end. I'm starting it at a tunnel and ending it at that same tunnel. So basically you're going into the ride and you're going to see it, and I'll talk a little bit through so you guys will have the fun of listening to me talking over this. I hope you guys enjoy. Well, as you can see, we're getting ready to go, and it's going to be a really nice ride. The sun's out, and then gratefully the camera that I was recording at head level, which is giving you the same view as what you see here, was not cooperating, and the audio kind of sucked, so I decided to give you this audio. But it is a beautiful ride. I've talked about the Blue Ridge Parkway before, and I was amazed after all of the storms we had to how once it cleared up, it is so much more beautiful. You can see the scenery for miles. We're between 20,000. We're between 2,000 and 3,300 feet. The reason I say 2,000, I'm used to, or 20,000, I'm used to living in Europe and in the Colorado Rockies, which are the 14s. So I'm used to being a lot higher up, but this is the same type ride where you have cliffs and drop-offs and beautiful scenery. I'm hoping you guys enjoy this. And the people I'm with are Scott, Chris, Deb, and of course Terry, Terry. He'll laugh. That's why I'm leaving that in there. It's Travis. I don't know why I called him Terry there, probably because I was just on to a Terry. We didn't stop off as much today because we had to kind of make up some time, I guess. But it's beautiful riding through here. Scott is directly in front of me on the red, and Travis is on the blue, and Chris and Debbie are on the silver that have the trailer. Now, hopefully the music is still going under, so you're hearing it as well. Well, I'm not talking. I tried to pick something a little more upbeat. Something to go more along the lines of the speed of what you're watching. And I'm just talking about how we enjoyed it. And it's nice taking a ride like this with friends. Yes, you can do it alone. I prefer doing something like this with friends or having a ride companion like having my wife with, but she was not able to make this trip. It is a total for me, it was about a 1,000-mile trip, down and back. I turned it into closer to 1,500, actually, from when I left to when I got back at the end of the week. It was 2,000 miles, but that's a lot of side trips as well. And we're riding along, we're checking out the scenery. I personally think this is a really cool angle, is off of the front tire there. I actually got this hooked up on a clamp that I have secured onto my engine guard, and it sits just there so you can always tell what kind of bike I'm on. I do have other clamps where I can put the camera in other places, but I think for something like this it's really good for the angle. Ungratefully, I didn't notice until after the ride that I caught a bug pretty early on. The cicadas were still really bad. Cicadas are terrible animals for rides, but they do something for the environment, so we'll go ahead and let them survive as long as they want. The next segment will be the last little bits of Blue Ridge Parkway and then Skyline Drive. I might break Skyline Drive up just because that's well over an hour of video and audio, and I don't know if you guys want to watch that. If you watch the whole thing, please let me know. I will gladly put up a segment that has the entire thing, but I'm probably going to speed a lot of it up and kill the audio. But I think this is some of the most beautiful scenery in the East Coast. I'm going to have to take my wife up here in the fall when the leaves start changing and it's cooled off a bit, and see what she thinks of it then. Because for me, this is probably a 2-day ride. Basically, I'd turn it into a 3-day, take it on a Friday to go all the way down, stop where I did, and then do the return trip over the next 2 days. So basically a 3 or 4 day weekend, so we can recover for a day before going back to work. And this was done, just they had to cut a lot of mountain off to make these roads work the way they do. And you can see it, some of it where you see the stone. Some of this is older trails. This is not something for like commercial vehicles and that. Cars and trucks are up here. We didn't see as many because it's, you know, been in and out of rain the entire time. But just looking at the beautiful scenery and the trees, it's very pleasant. They were doing a little bit of work, but I didn't see them actually work over there. And gratefully I was turning off the camera and turning it back on, as you can see with some of the transitions. So at one point there was a beautiful deer that jumped in front and ran along with us for a little bit, and I just turned off the camera. When I noticed the deer, I turned it back on and the deer jumped back into the woods. But in some of this you're going to be able to see some of the wildlife, because you do see some of the birds from time to time. And it's nice. I mean, I've had people ask me how taking a trike on something like this compared to a regular bike. I don't, outside the fact I'm not leaning going into a curve, I'm just, you know, pushing and pulling, depends on which way I'm going. For this one, I actually had it set on cruise control at 40 miles an hour. I just every once in a while had to touch the brake and then reset the cruise, because our average speed this day was 40 miles an hour. And it was pretty nice. We did stop for lunch. Had a great little lunch. Cannot remember the name of the restaurant for the life of me. It's where the Mill, it's the Mill something restaurant. But that was pretty nice. And just enjoying this ride. Because if you're, for example, down in Florida, your elevation change is little to none. What, 10-20 feet? And though they do have some curvy roads, the only one I found was back and forth over a train track. And I wasn't real thrilled with it, but it was interesting. I love the long stretching curves on this. Now I do know that when we go to Tell the Dragon in August, that's going to be a lot more curves. I haven't been on that in so many years. I can remember the road, but not enough to say I could run it without thinking. And my wife has never been on it, and we're going to be taking the trike down and enjoying that. And I'm sorry if these are not the type of videos you like. I try to get you guys a lot of nice ride videos, because I think watching the ride is so much more enjoyable than staring at my mug. If you prefer looking at me talking to the camera for, 10 minutes or so, please let me know. I'm doing this not only for myself, but for you guys. And gratefully the clouds were a little lower than us, so we couldn't really see well, so we didn't do some of the stops. But I love the woods side over there, and you can just see the clouds in that valley over that way. It's just magnificent. I've known Travis since we were teaching together down in Texas. A really nice guy. He teaches drafting and mechanical type stuff, I would have to ask him exactly what all he teaches, because he does a variance of computers and drafting and that. I have a course in history and education. But as you can see, the Blue Ridge, it's very beautiful. We did see other bikes, and it was great when they'd come up on us. And I liked it better like this, where the clouds were lower than us, which I found insane, because normally this, as I call it, low area, the clouds are usually higher, but because this is the Appalachians, the clouds will encase it, as the first day and a half, 2 days were showing. And at one point it was kind of funny, because we had stopped and talked with a group, and they had one female rider, we had one female rider, and they got together and started talking. It was pretty nice. You don't always have a lot of female riders. I'm very respectful of all the female riders. I try to be respectful of all riders. I don't care what kind of bike you're on. Get out and ride, enjoy yourself. Some more riders coming up. I always enjoy waving at the other riders, having them wave back, because it's like in the military. It's a really fun thing. Well, as we continue our ride along, I'm hoping that this shows you guys good detail of some of the curves, and it's great. The sky flashes that you're seeing, yeah, some of it's from the moisture, some of it's from bug hit, but just looking through your regular lens of your helmet, this is what you're seeing. And the sun was out compared to the 2 prior days. This is wonderful. I'm gonna see if I can put some of those pictures in at the beginning of this, of how overcast and foggy the first couple of days were. I didn't get as many pictures of one of our other riders, so this is the pictures that I'm going to add for this are thanks to Deb. She is the one who took those photos, and those will just be peppered in here. But I'm like, this was so fun. I love doing stuff like this. It's real great doing something like this with a group of friends. Doesn't matter if they're new friends or not, and seeing the bikes coming towards us, as you can see, we're waving at each other. It's all about the camaraderie and making the connections. I mean, I'm not from Texas, but I'm riding with people who live and are out of Texas. We're having a great time in North Carolina, Virginia, and I, of course, am living in Maryland now. But I've known him for a while, or at least what is Travis, and it's marvelous. It's funny, when I first started riding with Travis, or he was riding with me, I'm not sure which, I was on a VTX 1300. You guys have seen my red bike that I sold recently, earlier this year. I had it for 14 years, had a large sum of miles on it, and I've already put 18,000 on the Triglide since February last. And it's so cool seeing the other riders coming at us, and we were able to see so many different types of bikes. We saw American, European, Japanese. It is phenomenal, the amounts of them you see. And because I have it on high speed, I don't think you guys saw the I believe it was an otter that was going by a few moments before. It looked like a black flash going across the highway, and it wasn't a very big one. I'm assuming it was a juvenile. And then you come out here, and it's just like the sky opens up. It's pasture type land on mountainside. I mean, I'm from Nebraska. I'm from flat plains where the farms are rather level. Yeah, you go out to the sand hills, it starts increasing, and you have different angles, but the majority of it's pretty flat. But we're coming up here towards the end of Blue Ridge Parkway and the start of Skyline Drive. Now, the tunnel that we're going through actually was a bit ago. but I thought it was a great entry and exit to where we're going. And I'm hoping you guys enjoy this as much as I do. Pulling over here to do a quick break. Let's stop and look at this break. We are ready to roll. Just straighter, and we're going to Skyline Drive. We'll drive it too. Most of this trip you guys are going to see without any audio. The reason why, it's a long trip. I've got some audio on it. You guys are going to hear me talk a little bit. But the biggest thing is this is a beautiful ride. I've got my front facing camera, and of course I've got this one here now. And I'm hoping you guys enjoy this. I know I'm enjoying it. And it's funny because we're not really going very fast. And it's like at quarter tank, I was at 80 miles. I'm like, normally that's like 45 to 50. So I'm always really happy about that. I don't have the front camera on all the time. If I see something that looks cool, I'm going to turn it on. It's something I want to share with you guys, though, because I know a lot of you have probably driven the Parkway. I know you've driven the Skyway. If you haven't, come experience it. It's great. There's beautiful scenery. You have the rock formations over here. 28 miles to the end of the Parkway. It just drops off over there. Climbs up here. At some points, you're literally on the top of the mountain. It's great. Now, this is our second full day of riding as a group. I deadheaded down yesterday, or not yesterday, but Sunday. So Sunday I drove 500 miles to meet them, and they've been on the road for I think 3 or 4 days at that point. But they're coming up from Texas. I used to live in Texas. Me and Travis talked together in Seguin. It's always such fun doing stuff like this, not just with friends, but with other bikers. And all bikers are friends and family. I'd love taking my wife down some of this, see what she thinks. Yesterday's, though, wasn't as fun because, man, there was a lot of fog and rain. And where I don't mind riding in the rain, that was a bit of a pain in the backside because you're just wet all day. And I had rain gear on for most of it, and I took it off because it cleared up. Then we got back in the rain again. Now, talking with some people, they came up with a good idea, which I'm going to have to try. Duck hunting pants. They're rain resistant, water resistant. You can get them wet, they'll dry really quickly. And they keep stuff off your legs instead of, really thin material that you still feel the wind. So I'm going to have to look into those and I'll get back to you on that. So what do you wear in your rain gear? 9 times out of 10 for me, it's a jacket, and I have
if it's like this one, which is an air jacket, air goes through it, I'll either do it. It came with a rain thing for inside of it, but that's so heavy that it just cooks me. I now have a new one from Tourmaster. It sits on top of it. You guys will have seen it in a couple of the videos. I think it's really nice. It takes good care of me. I don't like the zipper. I've had it for a few days now, and that zipper is not happiness. Alright, well, we're doing a test here. Got the camera in a totally different area. To me it looks like it's really shaky, but we'll find out how good the anti-shake is. Basically, you're looking right at it. There we go. I love when it's like, well, you can't find your bike. I'm sitting on it. So I've got 141 miles. I'm at a half tank. I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm able to videotape and drive. Let's hope that the anti-shake actually works. We'll find out. If it doesn't, and this is really bad quality, I'm going to just drop this video and say goodbye. But if it does, well, welcome to Dark Dave Shop. This is Dark Dave. We're here on Skyline Drive, Shenandoah National Park, Forest, whatever. And I'm out here with a couple of good friends, some new acquaintances, or a good friend and some new acquaintances is a better way to put it. I love going through stuff like this. All the curves and the hills and the valleys. This is the way it should be. Spent a lot of time up in Colorado. Loved it. It's beautiful looking off. Seeing young drop-offs. Except for as soon as you get the bikes, everybody wants to go. I was going to change the disc, but that takes too long for some of these people. I'm going to have to bring my wife along up here and get some side shots. A couple in front of me are doing that. They get some really nice shots that way. Basically, he drives and she takes the pictures. Debbie and Craig, they're a nice couple. So I'm thinking the next 3-day weekend, I'll talk to the wife into coming here because it's going to be a 4-day for one of us. Either I'll take the Friday or she'll take the Friday and we'll drive down, spend the day in the hotel, drive the highway, do all the stops, either take another night in a hotel or just drive home. It is one of those that if you want to do it right, and because me and the wife love doing stuff like this, it's about, I want to say Fort Royal to our house is like 2.5, 3 hours, and it also depends on traffic. Could be good as a day trip, yes. Will we? Highly doubtful. We do a lot of stuff strange. We like making it a weekend, making it a day trip out. And yet, when the tide we roll, we'll go to the beach and come back same night. But we actually prefer to stay at the beach. Alright, I'm going to lean forward and turn on the front camera. that way, if this one runs out, I still have the front camera going. And it's nice because it's showing, you know, the lane angle of the bike in front of me and how much they're leaning compared to their trailer sitting still. The trike is more or less just a three-wheel trailer because I've got a lot of crap in it. I have stuff in here that I'm like, yeah, I really didn't need that. I ended up not using that. But the nice thing is, next time I go, I know I won't bring it. If I'm with my wife, I know I'll need the real camera because we'll stop at a lot more places. Because we won't be on, you know, 3 days of pretty much driving the whole time. We've stopped at a couple of places to take photos, but they don't seem to want to sit around for a while. I'm one of those, I could be out taking pictures for a good 30 minutes to an hour at each location. And that's why a lot of this I do with just me and the wife.